Alright, I want to show off this little combo line that I've been thinking about. This is what the 60 card danger zombies are going to be striving for. And these two cards up here, we're going to act as if the opponent is playing with two technical hand traps. That being Infinite Permanence and Cosmic Cyclone, because it's going to be the two best cards for them to try and get out of this situation, and the two cards that are most likely going to be either sided in or played in this meta, in this tournament. So, we'll take a look at the hand. We've got Card Destruction, Banshee, Guardian, Conquistador, and Eldland. And this is about as perfect a hand as you could ask or wish for in this scenario. And there's others that wouldn't be bad to have, but it really depends on what we draw. And the help from Banshee and at least one of these traps is going to set us up really nicely. So we're going to activate Eldland, pay 800, and search for Eldlich. Add Eldlich to our hand. Then we would activate Card Destruction to drop 4 into the graveyard. Draw 4. Inspect a Border, Eradicator, Anti-Spell Fragrance, and Eldlich of Black Awakening. So at this point, the way we would want to take this, Banshee, go ahead and activate Banshee in the graveyard so that we can activate Zombie World. We see two cards over here. The reason I went ahead and took this out, let's just go ahead and assume that this is a different card, because there's only one Guardian and one Conquistador to end the Eldlich engine. So probably wouldn't want to get both of them, because that would shorten the combo a little bit. So let's just say we send Gozuki or Algol, even better. Well, let's drop Algol. So now we're looking pretty good. But we know that there are bestials called by the grave, deity, crow, and multiple other ways the opponent can banish cards from our graveyard. So we're going to activate Eldlich early as well, sending Eldland to add it back to our hand, but not special summon. That's right, we're going to keep it in our hand. Because Inspector Border cannot be normal special summoned if you control a monster. I don't control a monster. Eldland's effect is going to allow us to send the Guardian. Then we normal summon Inspector Border. Activate Black Awakening to special summon the second Eldlich out of our deck. In defense position. Now, we have one safe Eldlich, two cards in our hand. We're going to set Anti-Spell and set Eradicator and just hold on to our Eldlich. Next, what's going to happen in the end phase, our two traps are going to chain. We're going to be in a set. I'm going to set a Black Awakening. And a Scarlet Sanguine. So we can set up for not only the opponent's turn, but the turn after that as well. In which case we'd probably be linking Border off for some heavy zombie extra deck plays. In which case we can still play under Border, like link off other monsters. We get a link monster so we can have one activation. We do our one activation, then we could synchro off for a synchro monster, have 2 activations, and that way we're still playing under border and we're still making more to the board. Now, set all of these things during the end phase, holding on to an Eldlich in hand, goes to opponent's draw phase. Immediately during the draw phase, chain anti-spell fragrance. Now, they've got 2 options here. They can start by chaining Cosmic Cyclone to the anti-spell fragrance, or they can chain Infinite Impermanence to the border. In this case, they might want to start with a Cosmic Cyclone, but their best bet is going to be starting with Infinite Impermanence. So they chain Infinite Impermanence to anti-spell fragrance. We can even put it in the same column, it won't matter. They chain that to Inspector Border, because they're going to try and get their monster effects off. Then we're going to chain Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. And at this point, they may or may not want to chain that Cosmic Cyclone. We're going to say they're going to, yeah. They're going to want to chain the Cosmic Cyclone now if they've got any other spell cards in their hand that they're going to want to use. So they're probably going to go ahead and try and chain to pop anti-spell fragrance. So the way they're looking at the board are Infinite Impermanence in border, so they've got their monster effects, so they're not too worried. And they're taking out anti-spell fragrance, so they've got their spell effects. They're looking alright. At least they're thinking that way. So chain, anti-spell fragrance gets popped. This goes to the graveyard, and then Scarlet Sanguine resolves. At this point, I think you know who we're going for. We're putting up Doom King Baladrock. So that when this resolves, Border was turned offline by the Infinite Permanence, but now Doom King Baladrock is online. And not only that, set up for next turn with Black Awakening, and we're still in the draw phase. Hasn't ended draw phase because that just resolved, so we have another chance to activate. We activate Eradicator, tributing Doom King, and targeting none other than their spells. Why? Because they targeted the anti-spell fragrance. If they would have targeted Zombie World, then we would probably set up to target their traps, thinking they're not worried about spells, they don't have spells. They wouldn't target the anti-spell fragrance. So it depends on how they chain. It really all depends on how they react to the anti-spell, whether we choose spells or traps with the virus. So right now, we choose spells, we snipe out whatever's left in their hand, get to see what's in their hand. Then, this goes to graveyard and it goes to standby phase. Border is still negated by Infinite Impermanence, so Doom King comes back online. Now, we've still got Eldlich in hand, Eldlich on board, Doom King on board, Border negated by the effects of Infinite Impermanence for now, and all of their spells are gone. So let's assume that they had an even hand, 2 spells, 2 traps, and 2 starters, 2 starting monsters. So they used the Infinite Impermanence and they used the Cosmic Cyclone. They got their other spell sniped by the Eradicator, and now they'll be able to set one, whatever their trap is, set it unless, let's say it's evenly matched, right? Watch this. Instead of using evenly matched, they could go to battle phase and use evenly matched right now, and then still have their 2 starters. If it's not evenly matched, they get sniped. Doom King negates one of the starters and banishes the other starter to stop their whole hand for Border to come back online at the end phase. And then we've still got Black Awakening. Let's say they're smart with it though. They've used their Cosmic, they've used their Infinite Impermanence, unfortunately got their other spell sniped, but they still have their evenly match. Is now main phase. They skip their main phase and go to battle phase so that they can activate evenly match. In this case, they've already done away with border's effect for this turn. There's two ways we could take this. Keeping border up so that when it comes back to our turn, we have a live border, or we could keep our Black Awakening since we do have Eldlich in hand. Don't know what our draw is, and we would have one of our Eldlich and one of our Doom Kings banished, but we do have Scarlet Sanguine and Black Awakening still in the graveyard. Although they could only search for 7 cities at this point. Now, Algol Zero wasn't able to be used yet. Without looking at the top card, we know we can search 7 cities. It might not be a monster, it might be something else. So, the other thing, we would probably, in this case, we would choose to banish Doom King, Eldlich, Black Awakening, and Zombie World. Still having Eldlich and some stuff in our graveyard. That would be their only way over now, is they would have to use their 2 starters, make their board whatever they can, and then destroy border, try and attack for game. If they don't attack for game, we go to draw phase. We get Nessie, Eldlich, we've got Black Awakening, and Algol Nazira. In this case, probably go ahead and activate Nessie. Just see what we can get off of that. Even, odd, even. So we would drop the Eldlich. Perfect. Draw 1 into a Jackalope. Special summon Nessie. It's one of those weird cases where, because they had Cosmic Cyclone, Infinite Impermanence, and Evenly Matched, and all played it correctly the way they should, and still had 2 starters, even though they got one of their cards sniped, it puts us in, a decently rough position, because we shortened down the Eldlich engine to an extent. We've only got 7 cities left to search. So, we search the 7 cities. Let's say this is the 7 cities. We activate our Eldlich to send the 7 cities into the engine and get Eldlich on board so we can start doing some damage to the opponent. Maybe hold off their attack, whatever they got, destroy some of their monsters. And then we have Algol Nazira to protect. If they negated Eldlich effect and then tried to destroy it, we get Algol Nazira out there. He would be protecting and then special summon himself. And maybe he would make it back to us. We've got Ghost Bell, Jackalope. Not looking too bad. It's in the case that they had exactly what they needed. The other case would have been if they didn't have the evenly matched. Or instead we had targeted traps with the Eradicator, then they still wouldn't have the evenly matched. They would have some spells. Maybe a Forbidden Droplet with like 1 card they could use. We're gonna try and go back. Yeah. Go ahead and put back what was on the field after the Cosmic Cyclone and the Infinite Impermanence. Oh yeah, this is returning the board state. If Eradicator had chosen traps to take out evenly matched. So they would have their two starters either negated or banished by Doom King, and then just have their spell cards. Let's again give them the best case scenario. Okay, so they've used Infinite Impermanence, Cosmic Cyclone. They got their evenly matched sniped by Eradicator, though, and now we've moved to main phase. That's one trap, two trap, one spell. You'd have one spell remaining, and let's say they've got Forbidden Droplet, and they toss one of their starters with the Forbidden Droplet to negate Doom King. They would then be left with just that one starter to make an entire board wipe. And let's say they do board wipe. They don't banish like evenly matched would, but they do board wipe. They destroy everything. What about, well, we could have them go ahead and destroy literally everything. I was going to say keep the Black Awakening, because that would be a spicy comeback play, but say they somehow board wipe completely off of one starter and don't OTK. We draw, no, we already had the Eldlich in hand, yeah. We draw the Nessie, like before, and now we can make 7 cities to get Eldlich out of the graveyard. The Nessie discarding Doom King special summoning itself, getting us the draw before it was Jack. I think we had Algol in there as well. And we would I think we'd set on the Jackalope, just see what else we could draw. Use the 7 cities effect, get Eldlich back out of the graveyard, attack for 3,500, have our 2,800 defense, still have Algol and Azira protecting Eldlich in any case. If they somehow negated and then tried to destroy it again instead of going over by battle, we get Mazera back. Have one of these banished. And I don't believe they'd be killing us on that turn. Let's say they don't, because we're both fighting for control at this point. Draw our 1 card into the Ghost spell. Yep. I would just normal summon the Ghost spell. In this case, Nessie and Ghost spell to make Baronne de Fleur. So now we have a pop, a negate, recycling from the graveyard, and then Algol Mazira is still up here, can switch to attack. Got Algol, Eldlich, Baron de Fleur. Still got a Doom King sitting in the graveyard, another Eldlich on backup. It's just unfortunate we can't sit any more Eldlich spells and traps, but they did their job. They did exactly what they needed to do. So we're just dependent on the rest of the engine to do its job. Drew in the Ghost spell and used it unconventionally to make Baron de Fleur, which I believe this would be enough for game. Let's say we had to pass turn again, having Baron with a negate. I think that would at least buy us a turn. The way we've shut down the opponent so far, yeah. So, going back to our turn, draw, and we open the Uni-Zombie. This is where everything would change. Uni-Zombie would get Banshee. Banshee makes Zombie World. We've got Doom King coming back. Yeah. We'd be back under control. controlling any of their monster stuff. And it's only been one, if maybe two turns under Eradicator, so all their traps are still being sniped, and they might open a starting spell, but it's not going to be enough. Baron would have negated the spell. They'd be sitting, looking at zombies returning like, bam, hello. Still got the Jack in hand at any point. Draw something we want to discard. That is something we would want to discard. We'd activate Jack, discard, draw one. Now then we could get into even more spicy plays. You can see how well this deck would bounce back from even the best opportune hand to open the board with. See, the evenly matched would have been the key, probably the better hand if they got to use the evenly matched, which is why targeting traps with the Eradicator really helped secure us and stop them. But then we just calculated Cosmic Cyclone, Infinite Permanence, evenly matched get snipes, and then we gave them the other best spell, the Forbidden Droplet, with their one starter. And even with Infinite Permanence, Cosmic Cyclone, evenly matched, Forbidden Droplet, and two starters, the best hand you could ask for any deck, they were still shut down, and we still had something on the board all the way through. Even if it was just down to Eldlich. You can see how Eldlich starts the engine and Eldlich ends the engine. Then once we got to Unizombie and started turning the Doom King stuff online, there was no chance for them. And if they didn't open, if they just opened a dead hand, they would have been spell locked by Anti-Spell Fragrance, monster locked by Inspector Border, and trap sniped by Eradicator, with Doom King coming back. If they had, say, the Infinite Permanence to negate Border, Doom King would still be there, and we just play the same normal plays. Yeah, it's ridiculous how powerful that board is, and how much they would need to try and break it down. That is what I wanted to show you today.